guys, so as you can see, I'm in my car and I'm driving to work, and if you watched Wednesday's video, you saw that I don't have my charger, so I can't charge my laptop and edit my videos on there. So I had to do these videos on my phone and just upload it to YouTube this way. So I apologize for the lack of quality, so to speak, of videos. But anyways, today's video topic is going to be on my future career, like what I'm thinking as far as what I want to do with nursing, and then the options that there are for nurses to, if you want to expand your education or go on further in nursing. And this video topic was suggested by Jamie's Beck on my Instagram. I asked you guys what kind of YouTube video ideas do you have for me, and she suggested this idea, so I thought it was a really great one. And so I'm going to kind of talk about what I'm thinking as far as what I want to do in my future nursing career. Right now, I am satisfied and happy with being a floor nurse, and I'm learning a lot, and that's what I want to be doing right now. I want to eventually, probably go to the ER or the ICU. Like, I want to branch off and specialize a little bit, and ER and ICU are kind of the two things that I'm really considering. I've also considered NICU, but I'm not quite sure. But anyways, anything that's intensive care, high energy, adrenaline, critical thinking is what I'm really interested in. So right now I want to kind of just stick with floor nursing, and I want to kind of specialize. And for the future, I definitely want to go back to school. And right now what I'm leaning towards is becoming a nurse practitioner. And I've always considered this before going to nursing school, that this was an option that I am considering. And so I don't have a timeline of when I want to go back to school. I want to get that good experience under my belt before I go back and, to school to be a nurse practitioner. One of my clinical instructors back in nursing school, she was actually becoming a nurse practitioner, and she said, doctors, they have to go to med school, then they do their residency for about 4 years or so, and then they become like a full-fledged attending physician. Well, if people that go to nursing school can go right into nurse practitioner school, and you really don't have that nursing experience. And so she said she recommends having 4 years of nursing experience, which would be kind of like your residency, so to speak, for a nurse practitioner, because you really don't have that time to where you're, when you're practicing as a nurse practitioner, you don't have that length of time as a doctor does. But anyways, that's sort of what I'm thinking. If I don't do that, I definitely probably would go back and get my master's in nursing, or I also would like to be like a clinical instructor one day once I get experience under my belt. But those are just kind of like ideas that I've been thinking of. So as far as career options after nursing, if you decide, I want to go on, there's a couple options that I'm familiar with, and I'm sure there's more than, just what I'm saying, but these are the kind of popular ones that I am familiar with. So if you want to, you're a floor nurse, you can always, of course, move up to charge nurse or supervisor, or eventually a nursing manager. But most likely to fill those higher up positions, they're going to want you to either have your BSN or maybe an MSN or something in education or something in business management, because when you go up higher on the chain, yes, it's still about nursing, but it's also about that business aspect of nursing and finances and charges and all those things. So that's kind of one option. Another option is, of course, you can go back and get your master's in nursing or your doctorate in nursing. You can participate in research and things like that. And then I think kind of the two main options that people most consider going into nursing school is to become a nurse anesthetist or a nurse practitioner, which are two routes that you can take after nursing school. Well, I should say after nursing school, because to be a nurse anesthetist, you typically have to work like in the ICU for at least 2 years and gain that experience, and then go be a CRNA. So that's kind of one option. Or you can go back to school and become a nurse practitioner, and nurse practitioners can own their own clinics. At least this is like the rules that I'm familiar with. I know it varies state to state, but you can typically own your own clinics. You write your own prescriptions. I don't want to call it, you're not a doctor, that's not your label, but you're really doing most things that doctors do. And at the hospital that I work at, we have every day we have a nurse practitioner and an attending physician that are the hospitalists, the doctors that are in the hospital that watch over the patient's conditions and everything. And so those are kind of some options for career opportunities after nursing. And like I said, I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, but again, I just want to gain that experience right now, really figure out the specialty in the field that I want to do, because once you become a nurse practitioner, you have to kind of specialize in, you know, what area. You can't just be a general nurse practitioner and be able to do peds and OB and ER and ICU, or, you know, you have to have a specialty, so to speak. You know, you got to find your area or your niche. So that is my plans. Thank you, Jamie's Beck, for the idea. I hope that answered your question, and I hope, you know, it answered everyone else's questions if they were wondering. So give this video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the comments below. Like, what do you think you want to do? Do you want to be a floor nurse forever? And I don't mean that in a bad way. Some people are destined to being floor nurses. Or do you want to go on and expand your education or become a nurse practitioner or whatever you want to do? So anyways, thanks for watching. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.